Biking, part 2 of this 2-part video series where I interview my good friend and founder of the Urban Bike and Social Club, Jeremy Kern. We talk about all things biking, and yes, we even talk about dating while riding your bike. So stay tuned while we ride into this. Boom. So now that we've talked a lot about urban bike riding and a little bit of, the hardcore cycling, why don't we talk for a moment about mountain biking? I know you and I have mountain biked a ton. It's really your forte. I've taken the foot a little bit off the gas, but why don't you share a couple of highlights around town and then maybe on the outskirts of San Diego? Because I think there is a ton, and for people who are interested in mountain biking, I don't have any better expert than you to drop a piece of knowledge here.
I don't know about that, but yeah, no, mountain biking's definitely been one of my favorite hobbies for over 20 years. There's a lot of riding here. Some of it you have to drive for a little bit farther away. I would say our top rides that we've been hitting recently, Greer Ranch is iconic, which is about an hour out of town, up and close to Menifee, but it's more of an enduro style downhill ride.
How do we get there from here? Where's Menifee? Is that the 8 East or?
15 to the 215. You basically go up to Temecula, and then it's about 10 or 15 minutes north of there. But
so in the Temecula vicinity. Okay.
Super worth it. Super purpose-built trail for enduro downhill mountain biking. Not for amateurs for sure, but
watch
if you
out.
know what you're doing. It's awesome. Probably my other favorite, personally for scenery, is Cleveland National Forest. There's a bunch of single track up there in the pine trees. There's some lagoons up there, and it just feels like you're completely out of town and away from the city. Super quiet, probably the spring and the fall is the best seasons.
For most San Diegans, Cleveland National Forest, if that doesn't ring a bell, it's like Julian, right? Is that the same vicinity, kind of the same direction?
Right. 45 minutes east on the 8, and then you hit the Sunrise Highway, and it's about 10 or 15 minutes up into the trail network. It's for hiking as well. It's multi-use, but it's great for biking as well.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
And then, one of the things where I rode a lot in San Diego is Mission Trails, just because it's so accessible. It's not the most beautiful scenery, but I think, if you're living in central San Diego, there's plenty of good biking there too, right?
Yeah, I like that area. They cut out some of the trails, but Sycamore Canyon has definitely taken over for a lot of that. Some of the trails may still be there, but I know I don't know if it was the Forest Service or the military was trying to kind of weed out access to some of those regions, but Sycamore Canyon is definitely one of my go-to spots for like a quick ride. So there's a lot of trails out in there, and then there's some purpose-built trails. Some are not quite so legal, but they're still really fun, and it's all single track, so it's super fun.
And remind us real quick where in San Diego Sycamore Canyon is in relation to where we are.
Yeah, you go basically hit the 52 and go east towards what's the name of that? Santee. Yeah, and then you get off at Mass Boulevard and basically hook a left or a right, depending on whether you want to go to what's the name of it?
Oh, Mission Trails.
or if you want to go to Sycamore Canyon. Sorry, brain fart there. But
perfect.
Yeah, but they're all kind of off that same exit.
So for those of you who may not want to ride alone or just are looking to make new connections around a hobby that's meaningful to you, I think joining a bicycle club is huge. But since we have Jeremy here, why don't you dive a little bit into the benefits of, joining a bicycle club, be that social, be that, a mountain biking or a road biking club, but why don't you jump into that?
Yeah, a lot of people that I've met through running the Urban Bike and Social Club the last 10 years, some of it can be kind of intimidating if you haven't done it, especially riding around town if that's not something that you're used to. But by coming out with a group of people that already kind of know the routes, know where you're going, know the rules of the road, if you will. It can. I don't know how many people I could point to that after a few of our rides and coming out and riding all around town with us in a group setting have come back to me and said, I would have been intimidated to do that beforehand, but now that I've gone out with you guys a couple times, I feel like I could confidently go out with my group of friends and do kind of the same thing and feel comfortable doing that. So that goes for mountain biking and road cycling and everything. So just you're connecting with people that you're probably going to be friends with because you already have a hobby in common, and enjoying getting some exercise and getting to know more people and more of town and better trails. So, I mean, it's a win-win as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think, Meetup is a great aggregator to find a bike club that vibes with your idea of biking, be that, social, be that mountain biking, or be that road cycling. I also think the social connection is something that's huge, right? Like one, it takes the anxiety out of riding just by yourself and maybe not knowing if you're new to the city or if you're just starting the sport. But then also like finding a couple of people that you can break out with, perhaps out of the main bike club. And I believe that must have happened a lot of times. If I would have guessed, you've probably been a matchmaker for some of your bike club members. Would that be fair to say?
We put butts in saddles and we get people hooked up sometimes. I don't know.
Is that your new tagline?
Something like that. Putting asses in saddles.
We like it.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, like I can look through my phone and I bet I have 25 Bob Urban Bike and Social Club that have become like basically lifelong friends from, people I meet. Because I'm an entrepreneur, so a lot of times I'm working from home by myself. And the bike club has been a huge conduit for meeting like-minded people that are fun and social and active, and it's been awesome.
And I think that brings up a good point too, with the shift in our labor force to perhaps being a little bit more self-directed and being more entrepreneurial, or at the very least being self-employed. We have co-work spaces that kind of help with the social connections. But if we want to not do the typical like I go to the gym type thing where I never meet anybody, then joining a bike club I think is a huge benefit. To just build other connections around a hobby that may be interesting to you.
Yeah, and honestly, it's in some cases it's a way better. I mean, in a lot of cases, honestly, it's a way better way to get around town, especially if you live in town. Because honestly, there's not that much parking anyways, and it's kind of frustrating to take your car. And,
right.
I mean, a bike is a way better alternative in so many ways.
Yeah, and one of the things, I guess like 2 points that I wanted to add to that is, one, I think riding your bike around town is not just, it gives you exercise, right? Like I get that often, oh, you seem so lean, you stay fit. But one, like I use every opportunity I get presented with to actually either walk or bike. And that's because of my German heritage, right? Like it's very common in Germany to just go grocery shopping, when you're walking, and you have these cargo bikes. I hope I can drop some pictures in the video of him on these cargo bikes. He's taken my daughters to school on the bikes, and he does shopping on the bikes, which I think there's a tremendous, benefit to that. Well, and the second point I actually wanted to make is dating, right? I've gotten a few questions around dating in San Diego, and how does this pertain to biking? Well, if you're thinking about a bike club and biking being perhaps part of your hobbies, then you can meet a like-minded quote-unquote mate, doing that. And I feel like I've gotten so many questions over the years, so how should I date, this, that, and the other? And I think, sure, use the apps, and again, it's a bit off topic, but if you find somebody who is like-minded, who has the same interest as you, then I think, some of the building blocks are just easy, and it's an easy, casual way to meet somebody. And that just doesn't pertain to joining the Urban Bike and Social Club. It could be any kind of interest-related club. But for the purpose of this video, we're talking about biking, and this guy's been a matchmaker. I've been to his wedding. We rode bikes, from Belvoir Park to downtown with with everybody who was in the wedding, including the photographer who fell off the bike.
Collateral damage.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, honestly, I always tell, I've been off the market for a while. I'm not the freshest guy in town, but I always tell my friends, if you're looking to meet somebody, why not meet them through a hobby or an interest or a passion? Because at least if everything else falls away, you have that in common, and something that you enjoy doing together. Even if the romance isn't that hot or whatever. When I was dating, I honestly wouldn't even date anybody unless they had a bike. So I probably sold 10 or 15 bikes at Calcos to different girls, including my now wife. So, I mean, she hates me occasionally, but we have our hobbies to fall back on, and that's been huge for us. You know, when the chips fall in different directions, you know, just having that common passion and hobby, and biking has been a big part of that, both mountain biking and road biking. And to take it a step further, I think one of my friends married one of my other friends' ex-girlfriends through my bike club. So, you know, we've done some matchmaking, not just hooking up.
Right. So there you have it. One of the big benefits of joining a bike club could be finding your romantic interest or your passion.
Exactly.
Well, this brings us to our last point here, and we wanted to talk for a brief moment about sustainability, the future of transportation, but specifically the future of transportation in relationship to biking.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the urbanization of San Diego, or, you know, most places in general, there's just, if we're going to build up and create these villages in our cities, I mean, there's just not as much parking, and bikes naturally lend themselves to getting around, having fun, getting some exercise, and honestly creating efficiency and having more fun instead of pulling out your car every time you want to get places. And furthermore, with the new e-bike technology and pedal assist technology, some people just don't want to get sweaty and ride their bike around, and they're not really looking to get a massive amount of exercise. But with these new fast evolving e-bike and e-cargo bike technologies, it's actually fun to ride a bike, and you don't have to get sweaty, and you don't have to be super athletic to do it, and they're relatively affordable. In fact, I mean, if the new stimulus or budget package passes this year, there's
and that's 2022?
2022, yeah. There actually is a $1,500 tax credit for an electric bike.
And that would be on a national level, I assume, right?
Correct, yeah. And that's a tax credit. So like if you have $1,500 of taxable income, you could directly swap what you would pay in taxes for that bike purchase.
Wow, that's huge. I'm sold.
Yeah, and then if you wanted to, I mean, it's a little off topic, but there's actually another one for an electric motorcycle or an electric scooter for $7,500. So
oh wow,
direct tax credit. So I mean, hopefully that'll pass. I know it has negatives and positives depending on your point of view, but that's an amazing free benefit if it goes through, especially if you're not, you know, an avid cyclist and you just want to get around town, have a nice time, and, you know, not pay $5 at the pump every time you go everywhere. Especially with the pedal assist and the new e-bike technology that's coming out. I mean, it's basically like the Nuvo minivan as far as I'm concerned. We haul kegs of beer, we haul kids, we haul toys, we go to the park, and honestly, I mean, I can't remember the last time I actually went to the supermarket in my car.
That's fantastic.
So, I mean, it's just, there's not a whole lot of parking. Especially the cargo bike is a game changer as far as the pedal assist technology and the ability to haul, you know, 3 or 4 grocery sacks home without getting a complete sweaty mess.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, and not to get too far off topic, but if we're looking at the future of San Diego, we are building more higher density. If we're looking at just Mission Valley alone, there's been, you know, so many different developments going up over the last, I'd say, 10 years. And then you're seeing the stadium here, so that will bring in more people. So if we all are in cars, it will just lead to more congestion. And who enjoys LA traffic? I mean, there are a lot of things I love about LA, but traffic is not one of them.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's easier, it's more fun, it's at more of a human scale to ride a bike. You always get rock star parking. So if you want to circle the block endlessly and be frustrated and get tickets, that's your prerogative. I think riding a bike is way cooler.
I second that. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, thanks so much for watching today. Again, Jeremy Kern with the Urban Bike and Social Club on the show. Thank you so much for being part of this. But before we go, I would like the audience to know where they can find you and how they can best hit you up, maybe join the club, follow you on social media, and all that jazz.
Yeah, for sure, Ace. I mean, the easiest way is probably on Meetup, Urban Bike and Social Club, San Diego. We have 10 or plus years of content on there, so it just pops right up if you search that. And then maybe my redevelopment company is a second, where we're building communities that revolve around biking and bike sharing and things of that nature, is the sustainablevillageredevelopment.com. So between those two, you can track me down.
And if you like to see beautiful mountain biking videos, Jeremy also started a YouTube channel, and we'll link to it in the show notes if that's okay.
For sure, yeah.
Perfect. Well, thanks again for watching, and we'll see you on the flip side. Boom.